Started. Okay, welcome you guys. I'm so excited you guys are here for our second week. And the body types I speak of, they're Ayurvedic. I can share the thing in the chat here afterwards. Okay, let me go ahead and admit these peeps, and I can mute everybody. Mute all. And out. Perfect. Okay, and we are recording. Awesome. Okay, I've got to figure out too how to get some of these recordings off here. So if you guys know how to get some of them off here, I've only had this Zoom for like 5 years and it's telling me I'm full and wants me to pay $40 a month, and I'm like, nah, I'm good with 15 but not 40. All right, so we're going to get started in the deepest chapter in this book. So if you read chapter 4, you may have been like, yep, that was a different language. Okay, can someone please speak that in English to me? Because it is definitely a different way of speaking and looking at things. So I want to talk about it, and I was sharing it with Missy just a minute ago. This is my chapter 4. So you can see there's lots of highlights, there's lots of underlines and circles and stars, because this is really, my second page is even more so. So this is how Stacy learns. Stacy reads, she circles, she underlines, she writes on the side, she makes notes. And this chapter I have a lot of notes. Chapter 6 is going to be a piece of cake, like I'll say that in like one sentence. But this I want you to get, because if you don't get this, you're really going to have a hard time getting the science to make this happen. Getting that formula really down pat to make this happen. So I'm not going to read it to you word for word, of course, but I am going to be reading quite a bit of this and paraphrasing and summarizing. There was a sentence. So the last sentence in this chapter is what I'm going to start with, or one of the last sentences in this chapter. Was it one of the, yeah, the last sentence in the chapter. Simply take them on trust. So all the stuff I'm getting ready to talk to you about, these 3 statements, okay, kind of like the steps to success, but these 3 statements and everything that's in chapter 4, simply take this on trust. Remember last week we said you're going to have to accept some things that don't sound right to you. You're going to have to accept some things that don't resonate with you right now, that don't make sense, or that you kind of go, no, I don't believe that. I don't know that to be true. No, I've never learned that. My grandma didn't teach me that. You're going to have to throw all of those old programs aside because they haven't made you rich yet. They didn't work. So you're going to accept the principles in this book as to be true, and that's going to help you on your process of getting you to your goals of getting to be rich, right? So simply take them on trust. The science of getting rich begins with the absolute acceptance of this. The absolute acceptance of what is in chapter 4. That's the last paragraph, the last sentence in the last paragraph. Accept them, the absolute acceptance of these things. These things are imperative, okay? So going back to the beginning of chapter 4, this is the first principle in science of getting rich. And so thought, we have 60,000 plus thoughts in our mind today. There's no way we can sift and sort through every single one of them, but you're going to become a master of mastering your thoughts. And when ones come in that you don't like, or that don't serve you, or you're like, whoa, that's scary, or oh my God, that's negative, it doesn't, I don't want that to happen, or oh, I shouldn't think or feel that way, you're going to say cancel. And you're going to be like, let me replace that with something better. It's going to take practice. It's going to take time. All teachers throughout the years have said, get a journal, write down every thought you can think of that you've thought about all day long. And I'm like, oh my God, there's just, whoa, right? There's 60,000 of them minimum going through your head all day long. So you're going to have to understand that your thoughts are creating. They have the power, the only power, to produce tangible riches from the formless substance. Your thoughts have the only power which can produce tangible riches from the substance, the formless substance. The formless substance is nature. Nature is all things. Did you see the light just change when I did that? I love it. All things went like that, and poof, the light went on. I laugh at myself. Can't make this up. All right, so tangible riches come from the formless substance. The formless substance is nature. Do you get that? The original substance. Formless substance is the original substance, the raw material of all things. It's God. It's source. It's infinite space. It's energy. It's whatever you want to call it that's out there that you can't touch, right? You're not touching it. It's formless. There's no form to it. Do you understand that? And that's when he talks about it permeates and penetrates the inner spaces of the universe. It's everywhere that my physical body is not. It's everywhere that this physical bed is not. Like the bed, literally, if you get into quantum physics, and this is science, people, it's not like woo-woo stuff. This bed is here because, number one, I'm observing it. And number two, it is just compressed particles of energy that have come together to form this form that somebody thought of in their mind instead of sleeping on the floor. Why don't we have something a little bit more comfortable? And it's evolved over the years to, this is a guest random bedroom upstairs. This is not my bedroom, but this is a guest bedroom because it's one of the quietest places in the house right now. But this bed's here because it is a thought created it, okay? Somebody thought it up. Somebody's thought everything up that's been created. You guys ever watch Shark Tank? Right? I think I've said that before. It's the only show. I haven't watched it since we moved here, maybe a couple times when we first moved here. But when we lived back in Indiana, it was the only thing that Brent, he's a TV junkie. He's doing so much better these last 5 years since moving here, but he was addicted to TV. The man was addicted to nighttime soap operas when I met him. I should have known back then. 90210 was he had to be home at this certain time to watch it. And then it was Melrose Place. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? You're an adult. But he loves TV. But anyway, I always say there's no BV in TV. Why am I going to sit there and watch somebody else be rich when I can go out and work for my own riches? That makes no sense to me. But the Shark Tank, I believe, is valid. You are watching live, raw, real people. And I know it's been cultivated, blah, 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 whatever, for reality TV. But for the most part, these people have come up with their own inventions, their own creations, their own thoughts. They have solved problems. That's it. There's been a problem. They have a solution they create. And some of them are stupid and dumb, of course. But the majority of them are really cool. And they have created solutions from their thought, from a thought, from something that was impressed into their mind, an idea, right? From source, from God, from this formless substance. Do you understand that? Like all things were created. The clothes you're wearing right now, it's because somebody thought to make that shirt. Somebody thought to make the glasses that I have on right now. What an idea. So, and those thoughts came from formless substance. They came from that source, from God. Okay. So that's really important. And we're just on the first sentence. But anyway, so the stuff from which all things is made is a substance which thinks. And a thought of form in this substance produces the form. So the stuff from which all things are made, God thinks. Okay? And a thought of form in this substance produces the form. So the original substance moves according to its thoughts. Every form and process you see in nature is the visible expression of thought in original substance. So as formless stuff thinks a form, it takes on form, and it thinks of a motion, it makes that motion. That is the way all things were created. So this paragraph right here is like super crazy. What does that mean? So let's look at it, okay? Because this is important. Original substance moves. Original substance is the raw material of all things. Okay, original substance. Get that? Raw material of all things. It's alive with creative energy. It's what you don't see. Okay, it moves according to its thoughts. Every form and process you see in nature is the visible expression of a thought in original substance, whether it's a tree, a plant, whether it's a car, a train, right? As the formless substance thinks of a form, it takes that form. So things will grow, and we're going to talk about that in the next chapter. Things are going to grow. Life is to grow. It's to increase, okay? So it's going to take on the next version, okay? It's going to grow and evolve into something else. I'm not saying we came from evolution. I'm not saying we came from monkeys. That's absolutely been proven to be absolutely false. So I'm not saying that we have evolved like that. I'm just saying things grow. You plant a seed, the seed will eventually grow. Okay, things evolve, they grow, they mature. So as the formless substance thinks of a form, it takes on that form, and as it thinks of a motion, it makes that motion. That's the way all things were created. So we live in a thought world, which is part of a thought universe. We live in a universe. There are millions of universes. We live in one teeny tiny one. Again, that's science. We are not the only things out there. We need some of that other stuff out there to come in here and fix our government and all the craziness going on in our world right now with all this insanity. Can we please ask someone else, another universe, pick a number? What's that? What was that show used to call a friend? Remember that show, The Millionaire Show? I don't know. Yeah, phone a friend, phone a friend. We just need a phone in. Somebody, ET, where are you, dude? We need somebody to come in and help, okay? Right? So we are a universe, right? The thought of a moving universe extended throughout formless substance and the thinking stuff. So moving according to the thought took the form of systems of planets and of planets and maintains the form. So thinking substance takes the form of its thought and moves according to the thought. Okay, so let's think about this. Down to us, because that's a lot. Right there, you may have to read that 5 million times. Your thoughts produce tangible riches. They produce a flower. They produce a butterfly. They produce a certain type of car. They will produce anything from the formless substance. There's a little book. It was, I don't know, maybe like 8 years ago or so. It's called E Squared. It's a teeny tiny little book. And it talks about this. And it's just, I mean, it's this big. It literally is. And it's just really a little book of experiments showing you that your thoughts can manifest something in front of you. And I'll never forget, I read it and I was like, oh, I want to see a butterfly. And so it was later that day, I think it was like maybe December or January. And I was picking Taylor up from school. I was in the car line and all of a sudden this butterfly just comes and sits right on the hood of my car. And I'm like, in January? Like, where's the butterfly coming from? But I had said earlier that day, oh, I just want to see a butterfly, right? So my thought impressed into the formless substance produced the thing that I had thought, that form, that butterfly, right? And Dr. Joe Dispenza, who I've been to a ton of, read his stuff and been to his workshops and very involved in his stuff, he does the same thing. We, at his advanced workshop, think of something, anything that you want to see manifest today. Does no big, no small, doesn't matter, whatever it is, and then let it go and watch. And I did the same thing with a butterfly. And I kid you not, we're at lunch and I'm randomly talking to some stranger people I don't know. And this lady walks up to me and she stands right next to me and she's got these huge butterfly earrings. And she's like, oh my God, you're blah, blah, blah. And she just starts talking to me. And I'm like, there's the butterfly. It wasn't a butterfly flying. It was these huge butterfly earrings. So, you know, we have that ability, but you have to understand that your thoughts are the only power that can produce these tangible riches, these things in your life from the formless substance, the original substance, that raw material of all things, nature, God, source, infinite quantum field of infinite possibilities. Your thoughts create that. Do you understand that part? That's like the main thing I need you to understand. Okay. So this is about growth and this is about action, because every thought of form held in thinking substance causes the creation of the form, but always, or at least generally, along the lines of growth and action already established. So, you know, he's talking about the seeds and the trees and all this kind of stuff. So every thought of form held in your mind, that's your thinking substance, causes the creation of the form, but always along a line of growth if there's action established. Did you see that? Action already established. So if you guys have seen The Secret, the movie, he's talking about if things manifest instantaneously, like I think something, then poof, there it is. And all of a sudden there's an elephant in his family room while he's watching TV. Whoops, it takes a big poop. So, you know, you don't want to like have everything that you think about manifest immediately. Things manifest from your thought in a progression based on your action. If you don't have the action, it is not going to manifest, okay? So you can have the thought, you have a million thoughts. I want this, I want $100, I want $1 million, I want a new car, I want a house, I want to go on this trip, I want to buy this shirt, I want to go here, I want to pay for this school, I want to pay blah, 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 blah. You can say all these things you want, there's going to be things that are going to happen if you take action towards them. You can't get into that college that you want to unless you fill out the damn application. Okay? You're going to have to put forth some action. It's just not going to be like, poof, and you're accepted, right? Unless maybe your dad is the dean or something and you automatically, somebody does it for you. Somebody's going to put forth the action, right? So the action has to happen. And typically things happen over time with growth, right? But not always. Things can manifest instantaneously. They can happen immediately. You never know. When you think, I'm going to do this, I want this, and boom, the phone rings and there it is, right? Sometimes it happens that way, but typically not. And that's what he says, or at least generally along the lines of growth and already established action. Okay, so on the next part of it where it's in italicized in my book, it says, no thought of form can be impressed upon original substance without causing the creation of the form. So you can't make it until you think it. Does that make sense? You can't make it until you think it. No thought of form can be impressed upon original substance without causing the creation of the form. But you have to think it first. A person is a thinking center and can originate thought. All the forms that a person fashions with his hands must first exist in his thought, in his mind, right? You can't shape a thing until you thought the thing. You can't sew the shirt. You can't create the shirt. You can't have an idea for these amazing shoes, or you can't have this invention on Shark Tank unless you thought it. It has to be a thought, right? And that thought is what you impress upon original substance to create the form, which is the thing. Okay, so think about this. So I saw a picture, and we're going to talk a little bit about dream boards at the end, but and vision boards, whatever, action boards. I saw this picture. I think it was maybe a triple diamond, and it was of maybe like 8 leaders, ambassador diamonds in the company. There was a training that was in Dallas, and it was a picture that had been posted on social media, and all the girls were lined up straight in a row. They all were kind of turned to the side, and they had this bag, like a purse, right? A bag on their shoulder. And they were all the same print. They were different styles, but they were all the same print. And they were all their ambassador diamond gift bag. The bag was a gift from their upline. And I didn't know what it was. I had no idea, but they all had it. And I wanted one of those. I was not an ambassador diamond yet. If you guys have heard my story about going diamond, I just wanted the jean jacket that said "Born to be Diamond" in rhinestones. I mean, I don't know why. I like things. I love things. That's why this book works so well for me, because that's how God expresses, right? You get to enjoy things. I wanted the jean jacket. I didn't care about the commission check. It was great, whatever. It's fabulous. There were no bonuses. Didn't care about it. I wanted the jean jacket because all the people were wearing jean jackets. They got promoted. They got called up front on stage. And I wanted the jean jacket with the diamonds on the back that said "Born to be Diamond," right? Remember, I'm from Indiana, okay? That was popular in the Midwest 10 years ago. So anyway, they all had Louis Vuitton bags. These were Louis Vuitton bags. I didn't know what a Louis Vuitton was. I wasn't into that kind of stuff. Remember, I wanted a jean jacket. I was, like the extent of it was like a Dooney and Burke for me back then. Dooney and Burke was the purse that was popular in Indiana at that time. I didn't know what Louis Vuitton was, okay? I'd never been to New York or all the crazy, shopping. I wasn't into fashion, obviously, if I wanted a jean jacket. But anyways, you guys, when I saw the purses that they were carrying, I wanted one of those because I knew that stood for something important. Those were all ambassador diamonds. That was something important. So I saw that. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I wanted it. And of course, I found out what that was. I found out what the Louis Vuitton was. I know that sounds so stupid, but I found out what it was, and I was like, okay, I want that. So I had the thought that I wanted that. Now, it didn't manifest instantly, right? But once I promoted to ambassador diamond, my upline wasn't doing that incentive. It was somebody else's upline that was doing that. I went and bought my own damn purse. Bought my own Louis Vuitton. So that was back in 2013. But it was a thought that I had, right? So the thoughts can be things that you see from other people, things that you obviously now were inundated and able to see so much with the internet. But it also can be thought ideas that are dropped into your head. Okay, and we're going to talk more about that. And that's where things are created. Somebody had the idea for that LV print, and they created it. It was from the formless substance that idea came through, and they sketched it out, which is what I wrote down here in my notes with, like, a lot of you see the songs, the musicians, right? All the art and the writing, the books. These are things that are dropped in, these ideas, the creativeness was dropped in, these thoughts were, okay? So hopefully that makes sense to you. And then in the side, he says, all the forms that a person fashions with his hands must first exist in his thought. He can't shape a thing until he has the thought of that thing. So it's the thinking stuff. That's the main thing you guys have got to understand here, that when a person has a thought form, he takes material from the forms of nature, makes an image of the form, which is in his mind, okay? So here's like a certain, if you're in, like if you read the Bible and stuff like that, then this part right here is probably going to stick out to you quite a bit, because he says when a person has a thought form, like an idea, right? He takes material from the forms of nature, so he's creating something, and he makes the image of the form with his mind. People have so far made little or no effort to cooperate with formless intelligence. Formless intelligence, again, is source is God, to work with the Father. That's the formless substance, the Father. In the individual has not dreamed that he can do what he seeth the Father doing. Does that make sense to you guys? People don't think they have the power or the ability to do what they think only God does, or what only Jesus does, right? Like Jesus walked on water. Jesus turned water into wine. We have those same abilities, those same thoughts. Okay? So, an individual reshapes and modifies existing forms by manual labor and has given no attention to the question of whether he may produce things from formless substance by communicating his own thoughts to it. So what he's saying here is, like, people are usually just like not creative. They're not inventive. They're not thinking outside of the box. They're just going with what's being told, right? They're just going with the way things are. That's typical of people. So we propose in this book, this is what he says, to prove that he may do so, to prove that any man or woman may do so, and to show how. And the first step we must lay down, there are 3 fundamental propositions. So first, this is important. First, we assert there's one original formless substance, stuff or substance from which all things are made. So there's one source, one creator, God, source, infinite intelligence. It's all the same thing, but that's it, right? You can call it all those things. There's just one. Does that make sense? Okay? There's one thing from which all things are made. And this stuff is thinking stuff. That is thinking. A thought held in it produces form of the thought. So you have the thought, I would like this. I want this. I want to go here. I want to experience this. In thinking, substance produces shapes. It produces what you want. Okay? So the human being is a thinking center capable of original thought. If a person can communicate his thought to original thinking substance, he can cause creation or formation of the thing he thinks about. So to summarize, this is like key. This is at the end of this part right here. He says, there is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces a thing that is imaged by the thought. You create with your thoughts. If your thoughts are going crazy all day long, and they're rambling, and they're negative, and they're detrimental, and they're toxic, and they're harmful, or hurtful to yourself or other people, if you're on this rat race, this hamster wheel nonstop, where is the space to create? This is why I'm so big into meditation, just guided meditation. Put in your earbuds and listen 15 minutes, because it gives you practice in quieting that mind and centering and focusing in your heart and tapping into that creative substance, that formless substance, where you can give space for those creative ideas to come in, for the things that you want to create in your life to show up. Okay, so at the end of this, I think we've got like 2 pages left, but let me see here, hang on. There's a part where I was like, okay, what does this, like I put a box around the whole thing. If one person who reads this book gets rich by doing so, doing what this book tells him to do, then there's evidence support his claim. But if every person who does what it tells him to gets rich, then that's positive proof that someone goes through this process, until someone goes through the process and fails. So for everyone who does exactly what this book tells him to do will get rich. So your job is to do what this says. A person's way of doing things is a direct result of the way he thinks about things. So I'm not saying that your way is wrong, your thinking's wrong, that you're not right. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying what he says here, that a person's way of doing things is a direct result of the way that he thinks about things. So to do things in a way you want to do them, you'll have to acquire the ability to think the way you want to think. This is the first step towards getting rich. And here's a really important part, okay? To think what you want to think is to think truth regardless of appearances. This, like, when I was rereading this, I was like, oh, isn't this so funny with our fake news going out there right now? That's gotten crazy. So you have to be a truth seeker. And it's interesting that reading this again for tonight, regardless of appearances, regardless of what's going on out there, you have to think truth. And you have to be constantly, this is what I do. I ask, God, lead me, show me, guide me. Put it in front of me in such a way that I have no way to dispute that this is you. This is divine. This is truth. This is blow my mind. Such crazy coincidence. We call those synchronicities, that I have no way to dispute that this is truth. And I feel it in every fiber of my being, covered in goosebumps, that I know this is true. If it doesn't resonate with me, I want to know that immediately. It doesn't feel right. And I would discard it. And I'm not saying that everything is, I'm like cut and dried, black and white on everything. It takes time, it takes practice. But you're going to have to think truth regardless of appearances. And when we talk about truth in this book, we talk about truth as in getting rich. He talks about the appearances, like, for example, with your bank account, what it currently is, which are the appearances, versus the truth. The truth is, you are abundant. 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, you are abundant. And if you're like, no, I'm not abundant, then exactly that is correct. If your thought in your mind just went, nope, I'm not abundant, I'm broke, then that's exactly true, because you thought it. So you have to think to truth. Truth is abundance. Truth is riches for all. To think truth, regardless of appearances, is laborious and requires expenditure of more power than any other work we are called upon to perform. Like I said earlier, 60,000 thoughts run through your mind a day. 60,000 thoughts. You're going to have to monitor your thoughts and speak the truth, believe the truth, and the ones that are not, you're going to have to cancel them out. The negative, detrimental thoughts, you're going to have to cancel them out. It's going to take work. The book by Carnegie, think and grow rich. Think and grow rich. You're going to have to think a certain way. Talks about the same thing, thinking a certain way. So there's no labor from which most people shrink as they do from that of sustained and consecutive thought. It is the hardest work in the world. So it's super easy to go to work, get a job, do what you're told, punch in, punch out, get your paycheck, come home, sit on the couch, watch your TV, eat your dinner, bitch about your day, kids do schoolwork, maybe an activity, whatever, and go back and do it again. Like, think about, what is that doing up here? What is that really doing for you? It doesn't require a lot of thought, does it? And I'm not saying your work, I'm not saying you specifically, I'm just saying in general. And I'm not saying that your work does not require you to think or to have to do things, with your mind. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying in general, people don't think. They're on the hamster wheel. They're going and doing over and over and over. It's like Groundhog Day, right? Sometimes it's a little mixed up later in the day and things are different in the evening, but it's again Groundhog Day. Drive the same way to work every day, make your coffee at the same time, shower at the same time, brush your teeth at the same time. And obviously with our quarantine, things are very different right now, depending on your state, of course. But that is the typical person. And so the hardest work in the world is going to be the work in your mind, the things that you do, that sustained and consecutive thought. And that's why you find that the majority of the population in the world is poor, because they don't think a certain way. Okay? This is especially true when truth is contrary to appearances. Every appearance in the visible world tends to produce a corresponding form in the mind which observes, and this can only be prevented by holding the thought of truth. So you're going to have to hold the vision, the thought of what is true, even despite the appearances. That means your current situation. If your current situation is not where you're living an abundant life, you're not living your wildest dreams, you're not rich, you're not, your bank account's not full, your cars aren't paid, your house isn't paid, if you have credit card debt, you're going to have to, this book's going to teach you how to do this, you're going to have to, despite those appearances, believe in truth. And truth is, it is your divine right to be rich, to live an abundant life. And he's going to say this in here in just a minute, but God wants you to be rich because the fullest expression is for you to be able to experience the things that make happiness and experiences and memories. And the fullest expression of those things have to come from things. And you have to have money to buy that. It's not an option. You have to have the money to be able to experience. And I'm not saying you can't go for a hike and have joy and have memories. And I'm not saying that. But I'm saying you can't buy the Louis Vuitton hanging on the shoulder if you don't have the cash to pay for it. You know, those purses start at like $1,500 and they go crazy money. And so, which, I mean, when you think about it, though, they last forever and they have a warranty. I had one, I had to take it back in a year later, and they're like, oh, you get a brand new one. Just go pick anything you want. We'll give you the exact amount you paid for it. I'm like, ooh, okay, that was sweet. No, full warranty, no questions asked. They have all, all your records and stuff. So, I mean, it's totally, if you look at the price over time, it lasts 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years for a purse versus buying, $20 ones here, $40 here, a couple hundred here, blah, 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 right? Anyway, we're not going to talk more about purses. I guess I need a new purse. No, I don't. I'm fine. I'm just joking. I don't need a new purse right now. I'm good. I just bought like 1,200 swimsuits. So if you look at my debit card account right now, it's going to say this swimsuit shop, this online shop, this one. Ooh, that cute tank. Ooh, that cute skirt. Ooh, Stacy went on a shopping spree. So that's what I did the last 2 days. We just bought a boat. I'm like, we're going boating. I need new swimsuits. I haven't bought a new swimsuit in 2 years. Brent's like, we got that swimsuit for $30 in Italy 2 years ago. Do you think you can buy a new one? I'm like, oh, don't ask me twice. I'm going to buy a bunch of new ones. We'll see which ones we like best. So anyways, on to the next page, because this is super important. Obviously, we're going to finish this chapter up, and then we'll pop through the other ones faster. But To look upon the appearances of poverty will only correspond with forms in your own mind, will produce corresponding thoughts, forms in your own mind, unless you hold to the truth that there is no poverty, there's only abundance. So it's, again, you monitoring your thoughts. To think health when surrounded by the appearance of disease, or to think riches in the midst of appearances of poverty, requires power. But whoever acquires this power becomes a mastermind. So this is huge right here, you guys, okay? Mastermind. I want you to write that word down. So to think of abundance despite of seeing poverty, and to think of health despite of seeing disease, whoever acquires the power to see the truth despite the appearances of what's currently happening, that's the mastermind. That's the person that can conquer fate and have what he wants. This is going to take your practice. You're probably going to want to reread this again and again and again, as I have over the last 15 years, hundreds of times, because it's going to sink in again differently at different parts of your life, different times, different years, different ways that you read it, different things are going to be happening in your life. So then we must grasp the truth that every thought held in this substance becomes a form. Every thought becomes a form. If you, like, literally, if every thought became something that happened in your life immediately, what would you do to your thoughts? If everything you thought throughout the day manifested in front of you instantly, right? You would change those thoughts. You'd be like, and I got this mastered. So I want you to think about that. Mastering that thought, mastering all of your thoughts, because that is what's going to change your life. And that's your first step. So when we realize this, that every thought becomes a form. Every person can impress his thoughts upon it to cause them to take form and become visible things. When you realize this, you're going to lose all doubt and fear. For we have what we can, for we know we can create what we want to create, and we can get what we want to have and become what we want to be. As a first step towards getting rich, you have to believe the 3 fundamental statements, like the steps to success, right? Given previously in this chapter. In order to emphasize them, he's going to repeat them again. These are important. You're going to need to read and read and read and meditate on these and say these, write these over and over and over and over again. These 3 things. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made. That's God, okay? That's source, right? There is a thinking stuff. Do you understand that? Which in its original state, which is pure source, divine source, permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. It's everywhere, you guys. It's everywhere. Do you understand that? A thought, your thought, in this substance produces a thing that's imaged by the thought. Your thought impressed into the formless substance, impressed into source, God, produces that thought. And again, like he said before, there's typically a growth and an action required for that to happen. Sometimes things manifest instantaneously. And the more you play around with it, the more you can make it happen. And next week, the 3 chapters we're going to talk about next week are my favorite, and they will teach you how to manifest very quickly. When you decide, you will receive. And you can do it. As soon as you put your energy into it, your thought into it, and you put that action to it, boom. I've signed up almost 15 loyal customers in the last 2 days. Done. Why? Because I put my energy into it. I'm like, I'm going to sign up 25 the rest of this month. And I was like, nope, I got 15 in 2 days. I might want to change that. I think I'll just go ahead and sign up 25 by Sunday. Why? Because I put my energy into it. I thought, and I wanted it. I have a goal of something I'm going to accomplish. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it now. That's it. And so I'm going to make it happen. And boom, it's happening. Girl, I needed charter for Ruby. 2 days, literally not even 48 hours. Boom, charter for Ruby. Done. Volume over halfway there. Why? How? Because I thought it and I want it. It's done. Boom. Energy to it. It's taken practice. I do it all the time. You can do the same thing. It's just following the principles in this book. 15 years later, I'm nobody special compared to you. I've just done it, and I do what this book says, and I practice it, and I live it. And it's not that I'm constantly like boom, boom, boom every single day manifesting, but I have manifested some really cute swimsuits and cute clothes. Last night, did you see the post? I'm like, oh, I bought this skirt, but I need this little shirt, this little bra-like top thing. Where is that? Boom, 45 comments later, people were posting links everywhere. I'm like, and yes, shop, order, click, cart, done, buy, and I'm out. Thank you. Manifestation expert, done. Right? So there, I manifested what I want instantaneously. Ask Facebook. Of course, everybody wants to give their opinion. Nobody wants to hear one more damn thing about a mask. COVID-19. Like, let's look at cute clothes and, swimsuits. Let's move on, people, right? So, anyways, a thought in the substance produces a thing. Hey, Nigel, that is imaged by the thought. My pup just came in. A person, number 3, a person can form things in his thought. By impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about created. And that's what we just said. You have the ability to create with your mind. And I'm going to end this chapter in the same way we started it, which was simply take them on trust. Science of Getting Rich begins with the absolute acceptance of this. All right, so we're going to pop through the other 2 chapters a little quicker. I just wanted you to really grasp that one. But basically in the chapter Increasing Life, this is what I kind of already talked about with everything is to grow. Everything to is increase. Everything is. Okay? Every desire is an effort of unexpressed possibility to come into action. It is power seeking to manifest, which causes desire. So God, the intelligent substance, which is all in all, which lives in all and lives in you, is a continuously or a consciously living substance. So the mere act of living must increase itself. That's life, okay? So basically, one thing I want you to know in this chapter, so every fact that we learn leads us to the learning of another fact. So knowledge is continually increasing. Every talent we cultivate brings us to the mind, to the desire to cultivate another talent. We're subject to the urge of life-seeking expression, whichever drives us on to know more, to do more, and to be more. So in order to know more, do more, and be more, we must have more. We must have things to use, for we learn and we do and become only by using things. We must get rich so that we can live more. The desire for riches is simply the capacity for larger life-seeking fulfillment. Life-seeking fuller expression. So wanting more money is seeking fuller life. Okay? So I want you to think about the books that you're reading. Obviously, the Science of Getting Rich, right? The audios that you listen to, the workshops that you attend, the intensives that you've attended. If you've never been to like I'm going to talk about a works conference. I'm talking, which is fabulous. Obviously, go to that, of course. But I'm talking about like for example, Tony Robbins. That's a prime example. He has a 3-day Unleash the Power Within. There's so many different types of things like that you can immerse yourself into 3 days and make radical leaps and jumps in your life. And those are things that the knowledge that you have, that you want to constantly be increasing your mind. Because then with your mind, as your mind increases, that gives you the ability then to have more things in your life increase. Okay? Because again, it starts with your thought, right? But if you're not putting yourself out there in different places, I can't tell how many workshops I've been to by myself. I love it. I went to one back in November. Just flew out to New Mexico, never been to New Mexico, rented a car, went out in the middle of nowhere on some Indian reservation, staying at some Hyatt. It was really nice, to go to a conference for 6 days with these doctors. And it was fabulous, right? Didn't know a single soul. Met 2 ladies the first day in line, and poof, we are besties forever, right? But it went out there for the knowledge and for the information and to expand my mind and learn new things and new people and new cultures and information. And just new connections, right? That's life seeking fuller expression. Life is not to be made to be on the hamster wheel and pay your bills and barely get by, and it's just not. That's not what it's designed for, but that's what you're programmed for because of school and life and the way that we were raised, right? So it's the desire of God that you should get rich. I started all of this part. Everything is naturally for you. So make up your mind it's true. Everything is for you. You must want real life. You must. And you must want it in the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. So this is really important that you understand. You're not going to get rich for one of these things and leave something else out. So the physical part of life, physically expressing the body, your health, right? That's one aspect. The second one is mental, your learning, your knowledge, your information. And your third is your soul, your philanthropies, your joys, your the things that, you know, that fire you up, that help you to do better for others. All three of those have to be equal. Okay? So you want to get rich in order that you can eat, drink, and be merry when it's time to do these things, so that you may surround yourself with beautiful things, the physical world, see distant lands, feed your mind, the intellectual world, develop your intellect, in order that you may love others and do kind things and be able to play a good part with your soul and helping the world to find truth. Okay? All three of those must be in check. Extreme altruism is no better or nobler than extreme selfishness. Both are mistakes. This is a big thing I've seen. Had a girl on my team, double diamond. Absolutely. Was no 100%. She got to double diamond. Her husband got to diamond. Things were going great. And she's like, I can't do this. Because of this last paragraph right here, she said, God wants me to sacrifice myself for others so that I can secure his favor. I have to live a humble life. I must be poor. I should not be rich and have all this money. And I'm like, I don't know what God you're talking to, but it ain't the same one I'm talking to. I'm wondering what your church is saying to you. What are your church saying? That you should be poor? That makes you humble? That you should serve God by being poor and have nothing? That makes no sense to me at all. That is not truth at all. That is not true. Do you know in the Bible, I took Dave Ramsey's course. It was right when we first moved down here 4 years ago. Do you guys know who Dave Ramsey is? He came down here and spoke. Trey and I went to the local Bayside church, and he spoke. I was like, I'm going to go to church. Dave Ramsey's showing up. I want to hear what that man has to say. And so we went, we listened, and he had a 9-week course. And I don't remember the name of that course now. But anyway, it was a 9-week course. I went 9 Sunday evenings in a row, and he spoke on the screen. He didn't show up all 9 Sundays because he's not from here. But he spoke, and then we worked at our table. We had the same group, and we worked with every single week on, you know, being debt-free and investing your money and your insurance and, you know, your real estate and all the things, right? If you haven't done Dave Ramsey's, I highly recommend you do. But one thing he talked about that first day that he came in was in the Bible, over 2,000 times is referenced being abundant and rich, living a prosperous life, living in prosperity, over 2,000 times. It doesn't say be broke, be poor, be humble, and that's how you get to the pearly gates. Nowhere does it say that. It talks over, and he referenced all these scriptures throughout the whole entire thing, because it was him, you know, on the big screen, of course, for 9 weeks. And it was all just this. These are the truths, you know, this is truth. You are made to be an abundant person. And I was like, that is fabulous. I will go to church every single Sunday night for that, because that's what I'm talking about, to live an abundant life so that you can have more and you can do more and be more and give more. Because if you don't have, how can you give, right? How can you give if you don't have? That makes no sense. So this was huge to me. God wants, this last part here where it says God requires nothing of the kind, being humble and broke. What God wants is you should make the most of yourself, for yourself, and for others. And then I love this part right here. I like this, and I underlined it 5 million times. Intelligent substance will make things for you, but it will not take things away from you. So being creative, you must get rid of the thought of competition. And I'm not going to go into this too much other than to know that you are a creator. There is no competition. You're not competing with me to sign up customers and distributors. I'm not competing with you. You're not competing with your next door neighbor. You're not competing with your upline, your sideline, your downline. You're not competing with anybody on anything. And if you're into competition, into competing against somebody to try to up them, to try to beat them out, to get something from them, you're not going to be successful. This life is about being creative. There's more than enough for everybody of everything. And if there's not enough, more will be created from the formless substance in your mind. Your thought expressed on that formless substance can create anything you want. What do you want, Stacy? I need a distributor. I think I'm going to sign up a distributor. I think I'm going to sign up some customers. Yep, I'm going to sign up 25. Okay, no problem. I don't know any of these people. None of them. They're not people I knew. They came out of thin air from a host to post. Y'all want to win some money? Here's a fan of cash. It was an idea that popped in my head. I went to save. I got $1,000 cash. I fanned it out in front of myself around my pool. Sat down, wrote it up. Boom, there, go. Here's my message. Copy, paste, post, follow up. Boom. Here's my simple script. Boom, boom, boom. Copy, paste, boom, done. I'm not competing against anybody. People come out of thin air. I say this all the time. You have to desire it. You have to have the thought. They will come out of thin air. I am not competing against anybody. I never have, and I'm not going to. Now, there's a different level of competition. There is competition when you look at yourself in the mirror. You are your competition, right? I compete against myself. I determine my goals for myself. Like when I think of like my physical goals, right? I just did the 1,000 burpee challenge, right? That was me. I'm competing against me. Thanks, Missy. I'm not competing against anybody else for that. I didn't do that for anybody else. I did that for me. I really did that for these shoulders because they had started to go like poop after not being in the gym for freaking 2 months. I'm like, I'm just going to bust out some burpees, damn it. Because I know they're going to give me my shoulders back. And then they're poof, there. And then now I'm like, okay, I'm obsessed. I'm not quitting. But I'm not quitting because I want the results for me. It's for me. I'm not competing. I'm creating. And in the process, I've helped other people that I didn't even know were doing the burpee challenge with me. They were like incognito and secret, and then they're like, I'm doing the burpee challenge. I'm like, oh my God, I love it. So being creative, not competitive, right? Compete against yourself. Compete about being the best version of yourself every day. Be better than you were yesterday. That's your competition, the mirror. That's it. Okay. So you're not competing against somebody else to try to get rich. So you become a creator, not a competitor. This is huge. You're going to get what you want, but in such a way, listen to this. This is like key to our business. You're going to get what you want, but in such a way that when you get it, every other person whom you affect will have more than he has now. So think about that promotion you're going for. I'm thinking about the promotion I'm going for right now in my 2.0 spot. The only way for me to get this promotion is if everybody in my organization has more than they have right now. There's no way around it. In order for you to get to the level of Ruby, the people on your team or the people that you're going to sign up on your team are going to have more than they currently have. They're going to have more health because they're going to be using healthier products. They're going to make more money if they're a distributor because they're going to have customers and they're going to be making income. So they're going to have more. So the only way for you to be able to increase your life, to increase your business, to promote is if other people have more than they currently have. That's creative. That's not competitive. That's creative. That fires me up because I can't promote unless I help other people promote. It just doesn't work that way, which is fabulous that this is the model that God lives by, right? That he's created, and that's what this business is built on. Priceless. All right. So to wrap this chapter up here, he talks about, let's see, there is no limit to wealth, no competition. So never look at the visible supply. Look always at the limitless riches in formless substance and know that they are coming to you as fast as you can receive and use them. This is huge. This is how I'm going to end this chapter. Okay. Look always at the limitless riches in formless substance. Know, capital K-N-O-W, that they are coming to you as fast as you can receive them. the receptive mode. Are you open and receptive to receive riches? Are you open and receptive to new friends, to meet new people, new business partners, new customers? These are strangers. These are people you don't know. Are you open and receptive? The money will come to you. The people will come to you as fast as you can receive them. Are you open and receptive? Or are you closed down in that teeny tiny hamster wheel of the same insanity going on in your life? Because of the people saying this in one ear and the people saying this in the other, and you've got this negative self-talk and you have this. Are you closed down? Or are you going to step out and be open and receptive? Grounding is something that I have done literally for 12 years now. 12 years? Yeah. Since I learned about it. I mean, obviously, do it as a kid. We all go outside barefoot as a kid, right? You run around, play in the grass, the dirt, the mud, the sand, whatever. But as an adult, I learned of what was called earthing. And earthing, basically in a nutshell, you can Google this yourself, but the earth is hit by lightning 500,000 times a day, at least. That's just a fact, okay? And it's funny. For me, I never grew up loving science. I never grew up like into facts or information or details. But as an adult, like it's what I crave. I want the facts. I want the truth. I'm a truth seeker. I want the truth. The truth is the earth is hit by lightning 500,000 plus times a day. It's a fact, right? Science proves that. But what happens is that creates negative ions in our planet, in our ground. And those negative ions will, if you know anything about negative ions, they will clear, they will balance, they will calm, they will center you, they will help you focus, they will help your body reorganize to its best ability in all areas. They will lower your blood pressure, they will help balance and regulate your cholesterol. It's crazy. 10 minutes, 20 minutes tops if you've got health issues. Bare feet on the ground. Open and receptive to God's abundance. I have spent my career in network marketing the last 12 years doing that, grounding and being open. And I just go outside, I'll stand outside, I'll look up at the stars and the moon and just thank you, God, for the abundance of peace, love, joy, happiness, health, wealth, success, prosperity, all things great from God. I'm open to receive all the blessings. And just give space for that. Give space for those blessings to come in. And that's what this is talking about. Receiving. The word receiving. Those customers will come to you as fast as you will receive them. You want them, you say it, you think it. I want 4 customers this week. Don't put a shadow of doubt in there. Don't put any stipulations on it. Don't have any, I really don't know what to say. No. If you do, you canceled it. Forget it. I want 4 customers by the end of this week. I'm going to put forth the action, and I'm going to give space for them to come in. People come out of the sky. They literally do. I say this. I remember going Ambassador Diamond, and I remember sitting down. It was a little over halfway through the month. Brett and I were sitting at lunch. We used to eat sushi at this place 3 or 4 times a week for lunch. And he's like, Stacey, it ain't going to happen. I'm like, oh, it's happening. It's August 2013. I'm going Ambassador Diamond this month. He's like, there's no way. Your charts aren't full. Like, you don't have enough volume. There's no way you can pull this off. And I remember looking at him, and it was almost like this kind of like, I don't know what happened there, but I was like, no, this is done. I know this is done. This is done. I had locked into it 100% without a shadow of a doubt. You watch, this is done. It's done. The people will come out of the sky. And I kid you not, I don't know the people that came out of the sky. I swear they gave me their social security numbers. I don't know who they are, who they were. Boxes were filled. People signed in. Customers came in. My girls would be grounded all the time. It was like every month at the end of the month, close week, it was like, I need this much in volume. Go outside. Put your arms in the sky. Be open. They'd come back in, messages would be flying. They're like, oh, how this stuff works. All these people are coming. Go back outside and ground again. You hit a block, people aren't signed up as customers, distributors, go outside. Put your feet in the grass. I remember close day when I was going ambassador, and my one friend, it was the night before, she stayed till like 3 a.m. My other friend showed up at 6, and it was like 10, and we hit a block, and we're like, we don't know how we're going to get this finished. This girl had to be a triple diamond. I was like, let's go outside. We're just standing there. Just stand outside. Do. All of a sudden, like 5 minutes into it, flood of ideas. And we're like, oh, we didn't think of it that way. And we ran back in and reworked the numbers and boom, 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 boom. Done within 2 hours. Done. Her triple diamond done within 2 hours. I'm goosebumps still thinking about that. You have to give space to receive. You have to be open to receive. Don't think you can think your way through all of this and analyze every single thing. Give God the space. Be open to receive the way He sees fit. That's going to bless you more than you ever dreamed imaginable. Be open and receptive. Let go of the oars. Go down the river. Quit trying to paddle upstream. Let go. Give it to God. Get your ass out there and start working. Right? Yes. I'm going diamond. Kaylee, you're grounding every day, all day. Just work in the ground, right? So I'm outside all the time, you guys. Our pavers are limestone. Limestone is like the same thing as, like, it's not the same as grass, obviously, but it's the same material. It's made of the earth. And so it does the same thing. People are like, all you do is lay around by your pool and post pictures of your feet. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like zen the F out. And I am like grounded to a T. And I am like, boom, manifesting and creating everything I want here. This is my peace. Besides being on the beach, right? This is like my happy spot. It's what I've created. I have created this life right here to a T. I can show you the pages years ago. If I showed you guys, it's on my YouTube video, actually. It was from like November 2000. I think it was November 2013. Yep. A video. I was in Florida that I did standing in the ocean. I claimed living in Florida full-time as my life. And in March of 2014, we sat at the beach, at a different beach with our kids, and we wrote out 2 full pages of everything that we wanted if we were to ever have a place in Florida. The first house we lived in down here, the first house we built 5 years ago, was everything to a T, minus the garage. We only had a 2-car garage, not a 3-car garage. It would blow your mind, the things on the pages that were written into an existence. We didn't move in until January 2015. We didn't even know we were going to be living in Florida. It wasn't even a thought to live here at the time. But just what if being open to receive, putting the thoughts into it, and of course we're working. That's our action, right? We're working towards our goals, towards things that we want. Power. Jessica, yes. Girl, you are going diamond. Done deal. All right. I'm going to finish up here. Riches, how riches come to you. This last chapter, this is it. I'm going to be real honest with you, straight up. Add more value to people than you expect in return. People will ask me, Stacey, do you even do it works? I had a girl today call me. I met her and her husband with their son 7 years ago down in Mexico. Random. Took my daughter down there for stem cells, and she was taking her son down there with Down syndrome for stem cells. Anyway, we became Facebook friends, stayed in touch, on and off. She calls me today, phone conversation. She's like, are you still doing it works? And I'm like, oh yeah, girl, I'm absolutely in it works. Yeah, doing great, fabulous. Business is booming. It's going great. She's like, I didn't know. I saw you were getting your PhD. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not the one that's going to be like before and after pictures, tons and tons on my page. It's just not me. It's not what I do. I do me. I do what I feel called and led to do. If you do, it's totally fine. But I'm just saying, not me. I'm not going to do all that. I'm not going to post, money, and I'm not, that's just not it. It's a lifestyle, right? This is a lifestyle that's been created. And so she's like, oh, I didn't know if you were still doing that or not. That's great. Yeah. And so anyways, you guys, on my page, because she was talking about different things, you post your food and you post this and da-da-da. And I was like, it made me think when I read this chapter again tonight, when I put stuff on my page, I put it on there because number one, the ideas pop in my head from God. I don't sit down and type anything unless the ideas have been dropped in. Like even today, boating with the kids, it's whatever. When I open that Facebook, it has to come in. It has to flow. I will not force or try to make something. Sometimes they're long, posts, and sometimes they're just literally like round one, whoop, boys done with their finals, time's done, something simple. But I have to have the thought pop in my head to do it because I want to be led and guided that way. And so I want to add value. This is important. I'm not saying you have to be a nutritionist. You don't have to be a fitness person, exercise. You don't have to know all the ingredients of the products and be a doctor or any of that kind of stuff. I want you to think of your platform, your social media, and when you're with people in person, when you're allowed to do that, which here in Florida we already are. I'll never stop being with people, but whatever your situation is, how can you add more value to them than what you take in return? When I am posting about my food or about exercise or working out or supplements or, different things like that, how can I add value to people? How can I inspire people? So then when it does come a time where I'm like, and I'm going to go sign up some customers, they have no problem jumping, do they? Because I've added so much value. Their 35 BV order is so much less from what I'm taking from them than what I've already given them in value. Even if they're brand new people, because anybody that I don't know from a host to post, when I send them that friend request and I send them that first message, the first thing they do is go and look on my page. That's the first thing they do. They go and look on my page. They're trolling down through my page to see, is this some crazy salesperson just trying to sell me something? No, I'm not selling anything. I'm going to share recipes with you. I'm going to share different exercise things with you. I'm going to post inspirational, different types of motivational things. I'm going to ask questions and involve people and engage people. I'm going to be real and raw, and I'm going to be me. And because I'm adding more value than what I'm expecting in return, things happen like this. So you have to think about that. When you're helping that new person get their skinny brew, do you know the value that their brain's gonna get from the nootropics? If you get them on a virtual party and they get to hear from somebody else about the benefits of the product or how the income opportunities change their life, if they hear about the business opportunity, do you know the value that you're giving to them by exposing them to that? It's almost kind of like if you don't invite them, if they don't get to hear the benefits and the ways that this can change their life, it's almost kind of like doing them a disservice. You're not giving them a lot of value, right? You don't just want to sell them a TFX and be like, woohoo, go take your pills. Like, they need to know deep down that this is really going to help their life. And that's how you add that value. When you add that value to them more than you take from them in return for that loyal customer order or that new distributor sign up, when you give more in value than you take in cash value in return, that's where you start to see those exponential growth. And you don't give expecting. That's huge. You cannot give expecting something in return from that person. You give knowing that the law states, there's a law. There are a lot of laws, right? We talked about that. But there's this law, kind of like the boomerang law. We'll just call it that, right? But it's cause and effect. What goes out comes back. But it's called the Law of Reciprocity. What goes out comes back tenfold. This is huge. What goes out comes back tenfold. What you put out, you will get back tenfold. The difference is you just don't get to pick how it comes back to you. So you want to think about that. How am I helping these people? What am I putting on my page? What am I doing to help people see different ways they can eat, see different ways they can improve their health, take different things that are healthy and safe for them? Putting things out that are inspiring people. That's going to come back to me tenfold. I don't know how it's going to come back. I don't get to pick, right? It's not my job. It's God's job to pick, right? That's what Source does. Says how it comes back. Those blessings come back tenfold. That's the law of reciprocity. You put it out. You put out more in cash value than you take in return. Okay? So that's the big thing on how the riches come to you. Give everyone more than what you expect in return. And what happens is you will start to see those blessings come back to you in ways you never imagined. That's where you get the people dropping out of the sky. That's where you get the people that instantly in 2 seconds say, yes, here's my credit card. I don't even know you, random strange lady on Facebook, but order me ski brew. Yay, right? Because it's just the way, it's a law. It's the way it works. So dream boards, dream big. It's huge that you have that, like I said before, that roadmap. Like you've got to claim it as if it's already yours. I need to post this picture and I haven't done it yet. It just came, dawned on me a couple days ago. Brent, he has a dream board, and his dream board's in the bathroom. When you open the closet door, he has it hanging there because he gets in the closet door every single day to get a towel or to throw something away in the trash can in there. And his dream board's there. And on his dream board, he had written he had a picture of a new boat. And this man is like, if he's on boat trader websites, and I mean, it's like 24/7, right? He's been all over them. And then he'll stop and then he'll go back on. And, you want the perfect boat. It has to be the right price. It has to be the right size. It has to fit all of the needs. It needs to be in right condition and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, long story short, the boat that's on his dream board is literally, it's not the exact same brand. That's a Grady Hawk. The boat we just bought is a Pursuit. So very similar. I mean, they don't look identical, but they're literally inches off in size from one to the other, but same exact style of boat with center console. But even better because it's over to the center console is not in the center, it's over to one side. It's a sport one. And so you go up one side, it has this huge bathroom in it, which is fabulous. But it's literally what was on his dream board. Literally. And so you have to have that. You have to have that roadmap. What do you want? What are you searching for? Is it a new car? Is it a bed for your house? Is it a new wardrobe? Is it a vacation? Is it to put your kid into this sport or send your kid to this camp all summer long so you never see them again? Do you want to send your child away for the summer, right? Some people are like, get the kids out of the house. But what is it? What do you want? You have to see it. Have it in front of you. Cut it out. Print it off, right? Get some magazines or go to the nail places. They give all their old magazines out all the time. I don't know if they will now. It may be covered in Corona. Just joking. But anyways, you've got it. You don't need to know how it's going to happen. You just have to know that it's going to happen, and you've got to put it out there. Okay. So I'm going to end this part with talking back here, this right towards the very end, where he says that it is God that worketh in you to will and to do, said the Apostle Paul. Reading on Apostle Paul. God, they're right on top of each other. It's close enough, right? He wants all these things because it is himself that enjoys and appreciates them. God, they are his creation. It is God who wants to play, to sing, to enjoy, to proclaim truth, and wear the fine clothes and eat the good foods. It's God that worketh in you to will and to do, said the Apostle Paul. So you need not hesitate to ask largely. Your part is to focus on and express that desire to God. God is the formless substance. Y'all with me? God's the formless substance. God's the thinking stuff, right? The nature, that's source, that's God. Okay. Your job is to focus and express your desires. That's the difficult point with most people because they retain some thinking of the old ideas that poverty and self-sacrifice are pleasing to God. Bleh. I wrote bleh. No, it's not true, right? And you need to ask largely. At the end of this, he talks about the guy that asked for a rug, and then he's like, oh, maybe I want this part of my house, and oh, well, maybe I want a bay window, and then poof, all of a sudden he has this, like brand new house that he added on to. You've got to ask for more. And you can ask for more in progression, right? Progression over time, but you've got to ask for more. It has been unto him according to his faith, and so it is with you and with all of us. And I wrote this 15 years ago. Look, go big. Go big. Go big or go home, right? So I know we went over just a little bit, but I really wanted to get that chapter 4 into you guys because of the importance that you understand that you have the ability to think things into existence. With your action, we're going to get talking about that in the next 3 chapters. And the next 3 chapters are really going to talk to about the feeling and what the gratitude that creates it. Because like I said, those are my favorite chapters, because that's really where you see the magic come together. It's like I said, it's a feeling you lock into, and when you lock into it, it's like boom and done, 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 done. It's done. And you'll get your diamond jean jacket. No, I'm joking. You'll get a shirt that says Diamond Diva when you go diamond, because that's what all diamonds get from me anyways, as a shirt that says Diamond Diva. So I appreciate you guys being on here tonight. I'm excited for you and your next level lives and all the stuff that you're going to be accomplishing and doing. We will pop back on here next Wednesday night, same thing at 9 o'clock, and we'll go over chapter 7, 8, and 9. It would be a good idea to reread or re-listen to chapters 4, 5, and 6 again a couple times. You are very welcome, Keely and Julie, all of you guys, just to make sure that's really honed in for you and you really take all this in, right? And I'm going to share with you, I think I shared it last week, but maybe not, I don't know. But I'm going to share with you, you're welcome, Jess, a meditation that I did literally from ruby to triple diamond. It took me 5 months to get from ruby to triple. I got that jean jacket, 3 of them. We had double diamond, triple diamond. But anyways, you guys, I listened to this meditation. It was 15 minutes. Just put your earbuds in, listen, breathe, listen. So I listened to that every night from ruby to triple. And I listened to that all the way from triple to ambassador diamond every night, 15 minutes. And I listened to that from ambassador diamond literally until I hit the Millionaires Club. And I still listen to that. I listened to that meditation last night. I've listened to a gazillion others. I meditate all the time. And I listen to a lot of different ones. But that one, it's 15 minutes. And it's so powerful. And yet so simple. And so relaxing. And so I'm going to share that with you guys in our chat so that you can start listening to it too. It's just an abundance meditation. And it is just, it'll help you guys a lot in all areas of your life. So 15 minutes, you have 15 minutes. Get up 15 minutes earlier, go to bed 15 minutes later. I personally like to meditate a lot at night when everybody's in bed, the house is quiet, the dog's put in her kennel, so she's not snoring. And so, but if it works better for you in the morning, that's totally fine. Or you can meditate during the day too. It doesn't matter. Just the thing is that you calm, center, focused, everything else gets shut out and you just listen and breathe. So thank you for being on here tonight. I appreciate you guys. And I will